We got to turn this on because something just happened. I am going to try to explain a breakthrough that I am having that is unfolding in real time. That, oh my God, I don't even realize how much I'm battling happiness inside myself. It's like this campaign of misery. Like I pick up the sword, I start wielding it, and I'm fighting for misery. Can we come up with a prompt?
I got a great prompt for you.
Give me the prompt. What is the
This
prompt?
is what I write on the top of every page every morning.
Okay.
This will change your life.
Hey, it's your friend Mel, and welcome to a life-changing episode of the Mel Robbins podcast. I am so happy that you're here because this morning I had a profound breakthrough in happiness. I guess more importantly, I had a breakthrough in the thing that I am doing that is robbing me of happiness. And you're doing this exact same thing too. We all are. And it's in the background. You probably don't even realize it. Today's conversation is going to be an eye-opener, a game changer. I cannot wait for you to hear it. It is also unfolding live. I was so excited about this breakthrough that I literally barreled into work this morning. And Amy and Jessie, my colleagues and friends, were sitting here ready to go. And I could not contain myself. I had to share this breakthrough with them. And what you're going to hear is me coming up the stairs. And you're going to listen to that conversation unfold live. And this is more than a conversation. We are bringing breakthroughs and matches. We burn things. So let's go. Okay, so I was just about to have a conversation with my friends Jessie and Amy. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Hi there.
And I thought, ding, ding, ding. This is something that I think everybody should hear, because I am going to try to explain a breakthrough that I am having that is unfolding in real time about my relationship to complaining and my relationship to suffering and how that robs me of happiness.
Mm.
And here's what happened this morning. I woke up and I felt this incredible flood of happiness and joy and gratitude because all three of our kids are home. And nothing makes me happier than when Chris and I are here at home and all three kids are here and we as a family are together. And so I feel this wave of joy. And almost immediately, a second wave came and washed over the joy and just washed it right out. And the wave that came over me was sadness and grief that they were going to be leaving in 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt this like heartbreak hit.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't even happening in the moment.
No.
Right. Anticipatory heartbreak.
And they
Yes.
just got here. Yeah.
And
Right.
they just got here.
Right.
And it was so acute. And so I laid there for a minute and I thought, holy cow, why am I sad? I mean, they're here. And then, of course, I rolled over to kind of explain this to Chris, and he had been up for 2 hours. So there, the bed was empty. And I get up, I brush my teeth. I'm kind of thinking about this. And then I get a text from you, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning, Amy pulls a card for me. And if you don't know what pulling a card is, you will, because we are going to lean into this at the Mel Robbins podcast. She pulls a card, and it's a mindfulness practice. It's a way to get guidance from the universe, from universal truth. It's a way to tap into faith and magic in your life. And so I've become basically addicted to checking my phone after my morning routine and seeing what card Amy has pulled for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so Amy has a gift, because every damn time you pull a card, it's like some portal opens up and I am hit with divine wisdom. Don't you feel that way,
Yes.
Jessie?
And I don't even tell her.
What do you mean you don't even
She
tell
doesn't
her?
even need to know what's going on. She just gets the right card that is exactly what you need.
Yes.
Mm.
So here I am
Thank
in
you.
this inquiry with myself about joy, grief, happiness, sadness, love, and loss, like just in it with myself. And so I check my phone, and Amy has pulled a card for me, and she has texted me the card, and she has texted me the description of what it was. And one of the things that I love about you, Amy, is that you not only text the card, but my favorite part is not the card. My favorite part is your enthusiasm about the card that you have pulled, right, Jessie?
Yep. And how you spit it back out to us.
Yes. Like she literally goes, "This is your card, baby. Get ready for this incredible message." And then she goes, "This is the card you and I pulled back in July." I'm like, how the hell do you remember this?
I do. Well, because number one, this card I feel like there's a very strong connection to you and this card for a lot of different reasons. But you did get this card in July, but then you got it again when we were doing another reading for you, a past, present, future reading. And this was your future card. So this is always where you're going and where you are if you allow all of that like negative shit to go by the wayside.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you
anyway.
wrote, "I consider it the Mel card."
Yeah. I do.
And then you told me the message, and the card is the Garden of Venus. Why don't you tell me what this card means? Like, what does this card
This card
mean?
has really deep meaning. And so immediately when I saw it, when you do these oracle cards, when you pull them for yourself or for other people, first of all, I get very much into your energy, and I ask for your guidance to come through.
Okay.
Not my own guidance, just for you. And so then you just kind of like let your senses take over. And the very first thing I saw was that there is a heart on this card that might not be seen by everyone. It's not the first thing that would jump out to everyone, but there is a heart on this card.
Yeah, because it's a picture, guys. Garden of Venus, beautiful garden. In the center is a huge white glowing opening.
Yeah.
And that's what I looked at. I didn't even notice that there was a heart on that card.
Yeah, well, that's really positive that you looked at that white opening, because that is what's happening. There's like a big opening for you happening right now. So anyway, this card is about a bunch of different things, as these cards always are. And whenever you pull them, there's always a different message. But for me, immediately that message of just love and happiness and rest and enjoying what you've created came through for me. That's how I immediately felt for you. The description talks, however, about something that I think is really important, that maybe is what you latched onto. You want me to read it so that you can?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could read it for everybody.
There is a part. It talks about the sword and the mirror. I'll just kind of summarize it really quickly. The sword is you always needing to defend yourself, your point of view, your judgments, the way you are. That's the sword. It's like you're constantly in battle with yourself, with other people, with society, with money, with, whatever it is. Like you're just always defending. And that's, I think a lot of us have that natural posture in life. Just back off or don't hurt me.
Or how hard things are, gripping or fighting.
It's gotta
like
be
the
hard,
fight.
fighting, all of that. And it asks you to put down the sword and pick up the mirror and look at the beauty that you are, the natural state of who you are. And that's what we kind of talked about in this text chain that we had this morning. Like, this is your natural state of beauty and peace and love. And when you're so worried about what the sword's doing, you don't take time to accept that about yourself.
What I got in this moment, hearing you say that, is that the constant fighting with myself or fighting against the way things are, the way that they should be, is robbing me of this experience of love and happiness and joy.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I wanted to share with both of you and with you listening to us right now is that I had this insane breakthrough this morning. And I've been working on this breakthrough for 2 years because, in the middle of, the big kind of sea, I don't even want to say the word anymore, that
Right.
where we were all, locked up in our homes, I just had a reckoning with myself in front of a mirror. And I looked at myself and was like, you're miserable. And the harder you work and the busier you get, the more unhappy you are. And you've got to start to take your happiness seriously, Mel.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to figure out how to be happy. And that might come as a surprise, for you to hear as you're listening to Amy and Jessie and I talk to you, that I, at a baseline, was not a content or happy person. And Chris would always say to me, God, you're always like focused on what's wrong. It's never enough. It's never this. And I would reject that. Full stop. I'd be like, no, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really grateful person, which I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really positive person, which I am. I'm a really I have happy times. I am like, I'm not always, I couldn't even see it.
Yeah.
And so here's the major breakthrough I had this morning around waking up and having a wave of joy because all 3 kids are home and our family's together. Then it immediately being wiped away by grief and loss and fear and upset that, oh, no, they're going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror and my true nature is the love and the joy. And the second that the gripping and the fear and the but they're leaving and the this and the that, that's me picking up the sword. And I had this realization that, oh my God, I don't even realize how much I'm battling happiness inside myself. It's like this campaign and this campaign of misery. Like I pick up the sword, I start wielding it, and I'm fighting for misery.
Yeah. And there's always, when you have a sword in your hand, there's always something to fight.
Yes. And here's the thing. When I'm thinking about the kids leaving in 4 days, I'm not actually experiencing them being here.
No.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
they're going to leave, and then I'm going to be thinking about when they come back.
You're not present
And I'm
to
not
the joy.
present to the joy.
Yeah,
so I'm experiencing it on the surface. We laugh, we dance, we do this.
Yeah.
But deep down, I am engaged in a campaign of misery.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because my mom is always focused on like what's not working. And she has bursts of happiness, and I so want her to be happy. And there's always something wrong. And it's as if I learned to speak both English and I also learned to pick up the sword and look for what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm learning as I work on myself is I'm learning that that's not the language that I want to speak anymore.
Yeah.
That thing, that the complaining that I heard, or the griping or the upset or the sadness or whatever it was, that constant campaign, that pick up the sword, don't get too happy, something's wrong, you want to go out to dinner, but I want to cook something. I can see you getting emotional,
Jessie,
Jessie. What's going on?
It was the 2 languages that you just said.
Yeah.
You just battle all the time with it. I get it.
Yeah.
That
and when
hit home.
I think we should call it the mother tongue.
Yeah.
That is the truth. Because to talk to your mom, you had to speak her language of, isn't this horrible? Look at your
Yes.
father. Oh my God. Prices have risen again. Can you believe? My mom would always say, holidays are women killers. I know. So she said that.
Wow.
She said and I had to kind of embrace that. And
Well,
Jessie and I were
did you also go to the okay, I'm going to try to fix it. I'll try to make you happy. I'll try to.
Sure. It's our duty to fix it. We don't know any better as little kids. That's what we think. It's our duty to fix it. So pick up the baby sword.
And to fix it, you say, yeah, it is terrible.
It
Mom.
is terrible.
It is so, can you believe that?
Yes. Because that was something that I always did too. And maybe you guys did. I never wanted to betray my mother's sense of safety in the world and have her feel unstable and have her take that out on me. So it was I was always agreeing with the crazy that came out of her mouth.
Keep
I was
the peace.
keeping the peace. Oh yeah. And part of it, Mel, when you say the mother tongue, part of it is that you it really was a language that you spoke and you didn't know any better. It wasn't like you were pretending.
Right.
You literally did not know
No.
any different.
Well, and same with her. My mom did not grow up in a loving household.
Right.
It was a super hardworking farming family. And, I'm of course feeling terrified that when my mother listens to this, she's going to be super pissed off at me. And so I still have to say this because I don't want complaining or being present to what's wrong to rob me of experiences of joy. I do not want to be sitting here in my life right now where I can look in the mirror and I can experience these next 4 days. And instead, what the old me would do is I would be already in my head, living in the reality that they're leaving and telling myself a story. We don't live near our kids and I'm never going to see them again and something's wrong here. And I would bring that energy into my day-to-day life. And I don't want to do that. Like, I want to put the sword down. I want to experience my life day to day and not be searching for what's wrong and not be engaged in my own private campaign of, this isn't happening this way and that is. And like, even right now, like we're recording this profound conversation and Eric and Brian are banging nails on the shed outside.
We're banging it out up here.
Yeah, we're banging it out up here. Like there's my mind searching for, this. Stop it, Mel.
Right.
Stop it, because you may not have realized that it was a second language that you're constantly speaking. Just like if your primary language that was spoken in your house was Spanish or it was Russian, you speak that fluently. Mm-hmm. And then if you, like, I feel like all of us have a verbal language and we have a subconscious emotional language. And I was sharing this breakthrough with Chris this morning. So he said this to me. He said, so are you saying that in public you're a very happy, positive person, but in private you're sad and miserable? I'm like, no, it's way deeper than that. On the surface, I speak English and I am a happy, positive, optimistic person. Because I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But deep down in the depths of my subconscious, there is another language that I am speaking. And I've labeled it a campaign of misery. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't identify with this notion of looking for what's wrong or arguing against your own happiness, everybody can relate to this idea that, as you're ready to go on vacation and you're at work, you're thinking about vacation. As you're on vacation, what are you thinking about? Getting back to work.
Back to work.
Mm-hmm. Right. And for me, that sort of internal, always on subconscious emotional dialogue is to search for something that is wrong right now or is about to go wrong. Mm-hmm. And in this moment, there is nothing wrong. In fact, I am living my greatest day ever because I'm here with you two, who I love. We're doing work that makes an impact that we fucking love.
Yeah.
Downstairs, I hear the voices of the people I love the most, and we're all together for 3 or 4 delicious days. And happiness and contentment requires you to look in the mirror and be where your feet are and let that joy and happiness flood in and not pick up the sword and gut the happiness by going, but this, but the rest, but the reservation, but they're running late, but the traffic, but this, but they're leaving, but someone's like.
Yeah. If you're always looking for something wrong, you'll find it.
Yeah. And I never realized the extent to which that was my default.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also I want to say it is your default because it was what you needed to do, but it is not who you are, like at a soul level, right? It is not like truly who you are. It is just like that language, right?
Yeah.
Like when you say subconsciously, yes, that's true. You subconsciously you do that, but on a soul level, none of us are like that. Like we're all, this Garden of Venus state, which is like,
well, that's how
joy,
we were born.
Peace. Yeah.
And that's
exactly.
who you are. You're wired for joy. That's why you miss it.
Yeah.
You're wired for happiness. That's why you miss it. You're wired for connection. That's why you miss it when you don't have it. You're wired for love. That is your natural state. And, one other thing I want to say, because while it sounds like, blame your parents, it's actually everything. It's what life does to you. It's the fact that as you go through life and you grow up, and especially, you know, all three of us have survived childhood trauma. All three of us have, you know, nervous systems that quickly jump to anxiety. All three of us anticipate what could go wrong as a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
And most of our parents are wired that way too. And we have an opportunity, every single one of us, to break that chain of speaking at a default level to ourselves about what's wrong, about what's not working. We have the ability to separate the language you speak with your mouth from the one that you feel in your body at a subconscious level.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great way to put it.
How are you going to do that, Mel?
I have no fucking idea.
Well, like, how do you put down the sword?
Yeah.
Chris asked me the same question because I didn't put it in the language of the sword, but he's like, how are you going to change this? I'm like, I have been, first of all, I got to be nice to myself. And I've got to bring compassion both to me and anybody that is in my family or around me that engages unknowingly in their own campaign of misery. Secondly, I said to Chris this morning, I'm 54. It is as fluent inside of me as English. And I can learn a new language. But just like learning a new language requires you to practice it every day, and you'll slip into English if that's your default, or you slip into Russian or Spanish if that's your default, I got to make a commitment to myself to practice speaking and encoding and learning a different subconscious emotional language.
Yeah.
And that when I slip into the one that I learned and have practiced forever, it's an emotional subconscious default that you have had since before you could put words together. You know, we learned this from Dr. Becky. That from 0 to 5, before you've got your own words and sentence structure and ability to truly describe the world around you, you are absorbing while your brain is in a theta state, which is a state of hyper learning like a giant sponge. This is why little kids can learn a second language like that. You're always learning 2 languages when you're born. You're learning the one that's spoken out loud, and you're learning the emotional language that is deeper underneath it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, your question, Jessie, how am I have no fucking idea. I guess I'm going to write about it in my journal every day. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to catch those moments where the wave that is positive, that I feel myself picking up the sword and gunning it. You know, and I see it everywhere. I see it in work. I see it in, even with the podcast, you know, we came out of the gates and this has been so wildly successful and the downloads grow every day and it's just been extraordinary. And there's like, I instead of basking in, wow, like we're making a difference. This is resonating with people. I feel that. And then I see myself pick up the sword and I'm like,
Right.
it's temporary. It's luck. You're going to plummet off those. And then I'm like, ah.
Right.
And then I come from fear instead of coming from my natural state, which is I just want to have these conversations that allow us to share our lives with people and connect more deeply and that make a difference for all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know. How would you guys like, I mean, first of all, what resonates with you about the language you speak versus this second language that we all learn 2 languages from birth?
I feel that. And I've felt that. I call it like my tribe language of how my parents talk about, you know, the big things like money and relationships and big life events, like how they view them. I noticed years ago that if I'm going to live the life that I want, I need to leave this tribe, not speak this language anymore. Ooh. And I did a lot of research around that. And like, how do I do this? Because it's painful to extract yourself from this family from your family.
Do you think that's what you experience? That is that sort of crunchy kind of thing that everybody has, even though you may love your family deeply that there is still this sort of mismatch
Yeah.
when you all get together because you're at different states
Yes.
of evolving,
Right.
and different states of, we all speak this language with words, but we are
Yes.
all engaged in learning a new language at a subconscious emotional level.
Yes. We've all moved on in some way, but we have our family roles, we have our common language, we have our tribal, and I say tribal in the sense that like any group of 3 people that get together create a culture.
Oh yeah, that's
in
the
and of
Seth
itself.
Godin research, right?
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, I decided I don't want to do this anymore. I am grateful for it. Like Con Marie, like, thank you for the lessons I've learned.
Yeah.
And I'm moving on here. I'm making a conscious decision to move on.
Well, what's also interesting is I think when you're present to it, Jessie and Amy, that, oh, okay, there's this thing I speak and then there's this thing I want to feel deeply.
Yeah.
And when you can get in touch with what is authentically who you are and what you want to feel, what I've noticed is I have a much easier time, not only with compassion and love, but with boundaries.
Yeah.
Because I don't get hooked.
Oh,
Yeah.
the emotional hooking in that is, that's
And
a big
that's
deal.
almost, that's a fluency, because if you've ever been around friends that are bilingual, so we have very close friends that she grew up in, her dad's from Jordan, her mom is French, and so she speaks fluent French, and so does her husband, and the kids are bilingual, and we'll all be around them, and super close family friends. Hi, Mark and Maheen. What I've noticed is when they're all talking to us, it's all English. If they turn and say something to one another, they speak in French, because it's just like this thing. And I think emotionally, we hook into each other's emotional languages by default.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do.
So what are some of the practices? Because you're a little bit further ahead on the road. Like you represent what I refer to often on this podcast as you're a light on the path for me.
Okay.
So what are
Yeah,
some of the
I would
practices
agree.
that you have
Yeah. So I think
to
number
put down
one,
the sword? How do you
put
recognize what your version of the sword is?
I think number one, just recognizing that there is a sword and that
Okay.
it's not, and it can be put down. Just like what you're saying right now. Pat yourself on the back, and I'm not kidding. Like, do it right now. Pat yourself on the back for knowing that this is a good development for you. And even if you walk away from it for like 3 months, 3 years, at least, this knowing is the start of something really awesome in your life. So number one.
Have you named yours? Because I've named mine the Campaign of Misery.
Oh, I love that. I might adopt that. No, I didn't name that, but the Campaign of Misery sums it up pretty nicely. It totally is. The one thing I started doing, journaling was a very big part of my practice. I would journal every day about this. Then I would, for a very long time, then I would burn it. I would literally put it outside in a Pyrex bowl and burn it. And then I would watch it burn. It didn't take that long.
Every day?
Every day. I had
So you would
pictures
wake
on my
up-
phone. I would take a picture of the burning flame every day.
We have to put, first of all, we're going to put this card in the description in the show notes. So will you walk us through this?
I would burn it. So I would do my morning pages, 3 pages of, morning pages is just supposed to be 3 pages of your stream of consciousness, but I would purposely think about this tribal thinking and just write everything that I hated about it, everything I loved about it, like everything that was happening in my life. For 3 pages, I would write about it. I would crumple it up or rip it or whatever. I would put it in this Pyrex bowl so I didn't like explode it, and I would put it outside.
So
no
would you
matter
like
the
walk
weather.
out
Yep.
to your front porch, or were you on the back deck?
Back deck,
okay.
yep, and just put it out there, and
Why am
I
getting
would
emotional at this.
I
Keep
would
going.
burn it, and I would close the sliding glass door, and I would watch it burn
From the inside, safety. You're like,
from the inside safety. Sometimes the wind would take it, and I would be like, good,
See ya.
goodbye. Every molecule of that paper that burned was one breath of that old language leaving me.
Wow.
And so what I would do next was the most powerful thing for me. I would go to the sink and I would wash my hands up to my elbows. every day. And that act of
Why?
like cleansing myself from whatever I didn't want that just came out of me. I just,
Wow.
You know the image I just got?
what?
So my dad's an orthopedic surgeon.
Yes.
And I think about the way in which a doctor washes their hands
Yeah.
before and after surgery.
Yeah.
And I just got this image of my dad washing his hands all the way up to the elbows.
Yeah.
And the ceremonial
Absolutely.
and scientific nature of cleansing like that.
yes.
And then it had this direct reference for me, since he's a surgeon, of the sword
Yes.
and surgery,
yeah.
and actually deliberately
Wow.
doing surgery to extract at a subconscious level
Yes.
this emotional language, this campaign of misery.
That was my intention, to
Wow.
extract that and
Wow.
not have that be a part of me. I
I'm going to do this.
love it. I love that I was raised in a family that taught me how to do this. It helps me be so empathetic and compassionate towards other people.
Yeah.
And now I feel like enough.
Yeah.
I am very fluent in it. Thank you very much. And
Not
I
anymore.
don't need it anymore.
Not anymore.
You know? And then another thing.
Can
that
I
you-
just ask
yeah.
one more question? Because
Yeah.
I know, I think that for those of us that don't have a practice of writing 3 pages,
Yeah.
can we freestyle and come up with a prompt? Because I do think having everybody that wants to try this call this the campaign of misery.
Yeah.
So I liked that you said what you love about it, what you don't like about it. So can we just kind of think up a prompt? So as I go to do this tomorrow morning,
I got a great prompt for
give me
you.
the prompt. What is the
This is
prompt?
what I write on the
Okay,
top of
I'm gonna
every
write.
page every morning.
Okay.
This will change your life. How can this be easy?
How can this be easy?
I write that on the top.
Jesus, I don't.
Question
I'm
mark?
like,
I don't even know
what
what-
is this?
Yes.
What questions do you have? I'm like this.
Yes.
What is this? Is that my
Everything,
day?
you
Is
guys, everything?
that wow?
Because with the sword and the subconscious language that where everything is hard. It's so hard. We make our lives so hard. You wake up, you have joy. Oh, let's not do that. Let's not do that emotion. Let's make it hard.
What is coming up for you? Because Jessie
Yeah.
is with her gorgeous blue eyes.
Yeah.
What is coming up?
You're right.
Make it hard.
Everything is so hard.
How
It
do
has
you
to be.
How do you make your give us an example of how you made your life hard already today? What were the disgusting thoughts? The campaign of misery. How did you pick up the sword against yourself or Jim?
as soon as
or,
I get in the mirror, like
what do you do?
days. That's
Yeah.
You look like shit. Good luck today. Like, not even good luck. Just
Right.
Really?
oh yeah.
What else did you say
That,
to yourself?
I get obviously super stressed and emotional with holidays. Because of my family's never really cared about them. And I'm trying to change that. So that's also like, how can I create my own language for my holiday? In my new house with my new husband, like all these things that I can start fresh. How do I do that with nothing, like from scratch? What does that even mean? What does it look like? Jim asked me that too. Like, what does it look like to have a tradition? What tradition? We can do it. Name it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have.
I've been
I don't
there
have
too.
any.
Yeah.
Is it like a certain dish? Is it a certain wreath that we
That
hang?
makes it
Is
hard.
it?
Mm-hmm.
How could it be easy? I just got what this
Yeah.
means.
And it goes back to like, it's a campaign of misery, but mine comes from like a victimhood, if that's even a word.
I
But
know.
that's
of course.
a big
Of
campaign.
course.
my,
Trust me.
Yes.
my second language that I've been nurtured in,
Yeah.
bathed in, of like, oh, you're a victim. You're a victim.
Yeah.
Not me, but that's what I will be like, oh yeah, Mom, you are a victim. Yeah, of course. You're the only one. So that is kind of under the umbrella of the campaign of misery. But you're right. Everything can be easy. And
That is our natural
I've never
state, you
thought of it
guys.
that way because it's always like, oh God, I have to do this,
No,
make
you
sure that
don't.
gets done. No, it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't.
Right.
It's so funny that we're talking
What
about
did you
this.
get? What did you get, Mel? What are you getting?
Well, Jesus. I was yesterday running around like a freaking lunatic.
It's the day before Thanksgiving.
yeah,
So
and
it's lunatic season. Yeah.
because we're in a new house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way. Like, what are my traditions?
Oh,
What are
yeah,
this?
I'm
What
the
are...
same.
And
Yeah.
and you know,
I'm in
we
a new
had
house.
plenty growing up. I
Yeah.
just like, well, what are mine?
Yeah.
Right.
And so then I'm like buying, fake, faux, whatever the hell, like things that go across your fireplace. And then I'm like buying the little white trees that light up. And I'm like,
Yes.
do I even like these? I put them
Yes.
up on the thing and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
And then it's just garbage. Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, why? And then I'm sitting there today and I'm like, we need a wreath. We need a big wreath.
Yeah.
The big
Yes.
wreath thing. It's got
Totally.
Yeah.
So the tradition
how
is
can it
stress
be
and worry and
getting it right?
not enough
Yes.
and never be satisfied.
Yes.
That's an awesome tradition.
And
But
I've
I
already-
invite you to just bake cookies instead. Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, I'm not saying like
And here's what's interesting,
Yeah.
everybody. I want to keep coming back to these two languages because the language that might have been spoken was joyous and happy and all this other stuff, whereas emotionally,
yes,
the language was, this is hard.
the emotional language. is
Everything
what I'm
has to be
talking about.
perfect.
Everything
Yes.
was always hard.
This is stressful.
Yes.
way too
Families
hard.
are a pain in the ass.
Right.
You deal with yours, I'll deal with just
Holidays are women
Da, 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 da,
killers.
da, da,
Like,
holiday.
setting you up
Wow.
for success all day long
Yeah.
with that statement and all the other ones too. Like,
how can this be
easy?
easy?
How can this be
But I don't have
easy?
an answer.
Yeah, but what
That's
if your
okay.
answer is it can't?
Listen, it's not about answering that question. It's about training your subconscious mind to look for a different answer to a different question. When you are working on the subconscious level, you have to have a different thought. You have to introduce a different thought into your being. That's why you like oracle cards. That's why people like
Guided meditation,
Yes.
people like prayer,
Right.
people like devotionals because it introduces a different thought.
a different thought. And so
Interesting.
when you are working on this level and you're realizing this is ingrained in me, this is not just a quick fix. I can't go to a seminar, or I've been to a bunch of workshops. Is the 33rd workshop going to be the answer? I don't know.
No, because you
No.
sit and listen
Yeah.
and you have an epiphany,
Yeah.
but you don't do the work to encode.
Right.
You don't do
Yeah.
the surgery to cut out
You
this
don't
shit.
exactly,
And
you
put
don't
in
have to
something
burn
else.
it on your deck every
I
day.
want to burn it on my
But
deck.
the thing is, when you write this, I have written this on the top of my journal for 5 years, maybe.
Is that when you started doing
you know,
this
you want to know
whole
funny?
front?
The
Wow.
campaign of misery inside me is already coming up going, I don't like the question.
Of course you don't.
Yeah,
And
maybe we
that's
should go, how can today
Well,
be easy?
and
Maybe I should write, no,
Of
it's got to be
course.
spot the campaign of misery. Make this
And I look
Yes.
at that and I'm like, that's hard to fill up 3 pages. I don't know if I can do it.
It's gonna,
You know what we're
it's
gonna do?
Super easy.
I think we should ask Jessie
Yeah.
to just silently write it. And then when she's done, we're going to burn it. And we're going to
Yeah.
see
See
how
how
it
it
feels.
feels.
Ooh.
Are you down?
I'm so
I'm
happy
so
for
down
you
if
you
you're
take on
okay
this
if I just
challenge.
Yes,
have
and
some
I've got a
crocodile
Pirate's dish.
tears.
Good.
It doesn't have any of the holiday shit in it yet because, you know what? I've made it hard. I haven't started yet. All right, so here's what we're going to do.
Let's
I'm
do
going to give
that.
Jessie a notebook.
Okay.
And I
Right,
have
here's
another
your
question about this prompt too.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, she don't like it either.
No.
Well, it's stressing me out because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, do I just need to make like a to-do list of like, if I have to do this, how can I make it? I still have to do this, a to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
But do you just shorten the to-do list instead of like 10 things, combine it into 3? Or is it,
It's so funny. I
Right.
sit here and I'm like,
I'm just
you're making
analyzing. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, coach
but
her,
you,
Amy.
but you do the same. Okay.
And am I focusing this around Thanksgiving? What is, I still don't know what this is. Do we make it, is it like work? Is it personal? Is it
yeah.
today being Wednesday? Is it just
Right.
focus on the weather? I don't know.
I get that. It seems very overwhelming when you look at this because this is very confronting because it's not how we were raised. It is not our natural language. How can this be easy? That is a very difficult question. And if it is, it's time to dig in. Here's what I will tell you. How can this be easy? Notice how your mind searches for this is wrong. I can't do this. I won't do this well enough. I don't have the right resources, the instructions, all of that.
Yes.
Notice how your mind is searching for that.
Yes.
That's it. Just notice that. You can write 3 pages of Amy's a complete jackass. She has no idea what she's talking about. I don't know what, like, write all of that. That is what I invite you to write. That stream of consciousness is really helpful. It still gets your mind thinking about how this can be easy. part of the morning pages ritual is to get out all the crap, right? You've got like a golden Buddha underneath, like, you know, a foot of hardened shit on the outside. So we're getting through that hardened shit and getting to the golden Buddha. The hardened shit is what you're writing on the page. So
Or the golden Buddha, right?
Or the golden Buddha. It could be. I find more golden Buddha nowadays after doing this practice for however long I've been doing it. But it's okay to get the shit on the page. It's okay to not get it right. It's okay to not understand it. It's okay to just be in that in between. But your courage and your bravery to be in the in between gets you closer to creating a new language for yourself. A love language, a language of acceptance. I mean, a language of possibility, a language of inspiration. That is all what I was searching for when I was doing this. And I will tell you, it has brought me there.
Yeah.
And there is even more. There is no finish line here. It's like just this glorious marathon where everybody's high-fiving you all day long. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fantastic. It will bring you there, but you have to be willing to stay in that space of, this isn't going to work. I don't know if this is going to work, because that will keep you grounded, at least in the possibility that it might work.
Yeah. And I think it's overwhelming the more like I just listen to it, the more I'm like, actually, you're going to fill that shit up real fast.
You will fill that shit up.
It's scary though of like what could come out.
It's totally scary, and that's why you burn it.
Yeah.
That's why you're like, you know what? I'm glad I don't have
you keep
those.
that down there. That's what my sword is laying on top of. We don't touch it.
Yep.
And
yep.
No one looks at that, you know.
Nobody can look at
that direction.
And that's okay. And nobody will. And that's fine. You're doing this for you.
I love this.
You're doing this for you.
Well, we're going to go to a break.
Yeah.
And Jessie's going to write her 3 pages.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to burn this motherfucker.
Right.
Let's do it.
So before we go downstairs, I'd just love to hear, what did it feel like to write 3 pages? How can I make this easy? I feel like I just flushed a toilet. The bowl was clean. That was not a very profound way to put it, but it just like spiritual flush, man.
Spiritual flush. Good riddance.
Yeah.
I feel lighter. How do you feel, Jessie?
I feel like I just went through my own little therapy session. I mean, I started off really crying, writing it. Not like really afraid, not knowing what to write. And then you ended it with like, I don't know, just it's night and day with my first 2 sentences versus my last 2, which is really cool. I hit every emotion in that, which I did not expect.
Reading the first sentence?
Yeah. I said, breathe, be still, be present. Hug your husband, hug Myrtle, my cat, relax, trust your gut.
Why does that make you emotional?
Because I need to say it more often. That's what I need to do. And just breathe, be still, be present. Hug my husband, hug my cat. Those little joys, I probably don't do them enough. Do them as often. I don't want to say as I should, because I need to stop saying I should.
Yeah, there's that.
But just being still and being present.
You know, it's so profound, isn't it?
Yeah. And
like,
that was...
It's just the little things that we're not even present to because we're busy, should have done this, should have done that we're not hugging the people we love. We're not greeting the cat. We're not...
Yeah. We're running out the door. We're, on to the next. I feel that too. Like, just even as you said that, like, I didn't really hug my husband as I left this morning. Like,
yeah, I didn't either.
Shit, I didn't either.
Yeah.
And that's an easy change.
Yeah.
But it was, I started with that with like literal handshaking just because I didn't know how to start this, where to start. What is easy? It's easy to breathe. It's easy to be still. And right now to be present with this pen and paper.
How did you end it?
I ended it very confident.
Wow. I want to hear this.
Yeah, if I can read just like the last,
whatever you're comfortable with. I want to hear it.
You know, we're around the holidays. Even though I know you said don't read your papers.
Yeah, I don't, but that's okay.
Before you burn them. But since it's holidays, there's a lot of stress around holidays, just being with family. We don't live near our family, and they've never been a tradition. So I just said, it's okay to not be with family for Thanksgiving. It's okay to spend my first Thanksgiving in our new home together with FaceTime. It's all okay how it is, ! Stop putting pressure to make others happy. Are you happy? Yes. Be thankful for you and your language. Your new tribe starts now.
Oh my
Whew, Jessie.
Wow.
And
wow, that is, keep
I don't
keep
like,
going.
there was anger in here. There was frustration in here. There was doubt. And it just comes out of like, no, you're fucking happy. It's okay to be happy and not be pulling in the dark side because everyone else does it, or it's easy to relate on the dark, or that's all you know. That's all you've been trained to do and communicate
most
that
of us
way.
are trained to do.
Yeah, I can relate to my mom so easy off of guilt and off of bad news. What if I don't have any? I find it, and that's what I will talk to her about. You know, so now it's change that language. Only present the good that I have a lot of that I don't give love to. Whether it is my husband and my cat, or it is just being thankful for myself.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that is really moving, that you start off in one place and that you end in another, and you end with the Jessie that you want to talk to.
What did yours say?
Well, you know what's really funny is I had a very similar theme to Jessie. Relax. Just relax. Just be in the moment and relax yourself. I don't know. Yeah, it was a little bit about breathing too. I mean, it's a really similar idea. Are you laughing?
What about the end?
You know, the end is, as I often find the end to be when I do this practice, is like, all right, I can do this. Now that I took my emotional, what did you call it? Spiritual dump.
Yep.
I've got this and I can do this. And that is, I ended in the same spot about a totally different topic, but I ended in the same spot. I can do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I started obviously with, I don't know, screw you, Amy. I wrote, the cat is pissing me off. He feels hard. He's peeing in the bathroom. He's peeing on the floor of the laundry room. He's scratching the new runner on the stairs. He's needy and loud in the middle of the fucking night. He draws Homie, our puppy, over, leans in to sniff him as if he loves him, then fucking swats at him like, what a dick. Easy. Like, so I go on and on, bitching about the cat.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, like similar stuff about the holidays. Because I always deeply miss my family around the holidays. And yet I asked my folks to come and they said no, they wanted to be in Florida. And I asked them to come for Christmas and they said no. And it just makes me so sad. And so I, how can this be easy? Open the door. Let love in. Let them be exactly who they are and who they aren't. Just figure out what makes me happy and do those things. Take a breath. Tell myself you're in a 5-year experiment right now of healing, of happiness, and of creating a spiritual home base for yourself, Mel. How can this be easy? Let go. Stop gripping and just love.
Oh, holy shit, Mel.
Oh, yes.
That's incredible.
That's beautiful.
Same thing was true about the cat, because I realize I'm so pissed off at him and I need to come from love because he's clearly in distress. Something's up. Like, he can't fix this himself. So I got to rise above all of this resentment and anger that I feel.
Yeah.
And just shower him with love and help him figure it out. Because otherwise Chris is going to kill him. I mean, he keeps peeing in the house.
I mean, that was really cool. And again, I didn't think I could fill up 3 pages, but it just kept going. Once you really get into it,
Flush the toilet.
Yeah.
Flush the toilet. Well, I'll tell you what I know from doing this, and this is just my experience, is a lot of times you don't want to do it. There's resistance. You don't think you can do it. You can't fill a page. You don't want to talk about it, whatever it is. And then once you get going, it's like just the floodgates open.
Yeah, I think this is an act of reprogram. Think about this like reprogram your mind. I think one of the reasons why so many of us love prayer or meditation or oracle cards or like reading a book like the Book of Awakening that gives you like a daily devotional is that it gives you a new thought to anchor onto when your old one sucks. And this prompt, how can this be easy, forces you to have a new thought to anchor on instead of the old one, which for all of us, I'm going to say, is what's wrong, what's not working, what's hard, what's the problem, what do I have to complain about?
Yeah. Give your mind a different job. Your mind right now has a job of looking for what's horrible, cutting it down to make it the worst ever, like not accepting joy, not accepting happiness. That's the job that most of us give our mind. That's the job that I realized I gave my mind all the time. Yeah. How can this be even worse?
Yeah.
What's that getting me?
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't think this is the wake-up call, everybody. You didn't realize that your mind was doing this job. It's been doing it for so long, it just runs on repeat. So now it's time for us to take control. Put down the damn sword, stop the campaign of misery, pick up the fucking pen, and write a new chapter for real. Like train your brain to spot how this can be easy. Train your brain. How can this be easy? How can this make me happy? How can I let love in? Start writing a whole new way to think. That's what I'm going to do. Let's go burn this shit.
Let's go burn it.
Yeah.
You already crumpled yours up, which is great.
Okay.
I'm going to actually rip mine up because I just feel like that kind of gets out a little bit extra emotion. Yeah, Jessie's feeling it. See ya.
I just felt something like,
Yeah.
I feel like a rip.
Rip
Hold
it
on.
up. Rip it up.
Wow.
Oh.
Look at how that just landed. This be easy on top.
All right. So sometimes that happens too. Like sometimes you really get like a message even in that. So then I just
Light it.
take a match. I'm
Okay.
going to light Jessie's for her. And sometimes it's more difficult than
You mean to hold your mic?
and somehow this matches. There we go.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
And then I just have a habit of standing back from it and watching it burn. And just saying to myself, let it all go. Just let all that complaining, shit you don't need, and the stuff you don't want, let it be gone.
Wow.
What do you do when it stops burning? Like, I'm now worried about yours.
Mine? Yeah, I know. Sometimes that happens because mine's not lighting.
You know, it's funny, that kind of crumpled, ashy remain is what that black tar wave of misery actually felt like,
You're right.
that I felt this morning.
Wow.
Like that physical burnt paper that's left in that Pyrex dish looks like misery.
Yes.
That's what I feel when I think, for example, about the kids all leaving instead of being present in the moment.
It's sad.
Yeah. Oh, yours is smoking.
I know. I'm having some difficulty with mine.
Not really.
and
It's
I
just
think that's
taking some,
okay.
just taking a little time. Amy's burning hers. What are you feeling, Jessie?
Very satisfied. I don't know why that happened so fast. And there's so much hesitation to write it. And how do I start it? How do I do this? And it was easy.
Isn't that
I mean,
incredible?
yeah.
That's what, right? It's easy.
It's easy. And I feel so much better. If I do this again tomorrow, will I write most of the same stuff? Of course. I think a lot of it will be the same right now. But again, you keep burning it, keep getting rid of it. It was easy.
Chris will be out here in his ice barrel doing the cold plunge, and I will be doing the fire ceremony
Yeah.
with my thoughts.
Yeah.
Putting the sword down.
What'd you think, Mel?
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
Seeing the physically burnt paper is very helpful for me because now I have like this image to attach to the thoughts and the feelings. So I can separate from it because I just want to be happier in my life. And the only reason that I'm not is because of this battle that I engage in.
Right.
And so that almost honestly looks like a burnt sword, you know, it just
Yeah.
put it down.
Yeah.
And I felt the same thing you did too, Jessie, that it's a lot of work to carry this shit around. And it's a lot of work, even though it's subconscious, to be griping and complaining and present to what's wrong and everything's hard and that energy, it's a lot. And it was pretty easy to let it go once I made a decision to.
Well, it is so heavy, and it's the heavy thoughts, like you said, Mel, but it's really not. It's just that. They're just thoughts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
That was really cool.
Well, Amy, thank you.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to
Thanks, Amy.
hear what you think. I want you to do this exercise. And if you want to see the burning ceremony, we put up full unabridged episodes on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/Mel Robbins and you can watch what we just did on the front porch up here in southern Vermont, where my kids will never visit. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke, everybody. See? Put down the board, picked up the pen. Mel
That's
Robbins
right.
is writing
Put it
jokes.
down.
Laughter,
Burn it again.
happiness.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, I hope today was a wake-up call for you. I hope that you saw where you pick up the sword and you fight for misery instead of the happiness that you deserve. And I hope that you not only got a wake-up call, but that you got handed a pen and that you're going to write not only new neural pathways, but a whole new experience of your life being happier. And in case nobody else tells you, we will tell you. We love you.
We do love you.
We love you so much.
I believe in you, and I believe in your ability to put down the sword, stop with the campaign of misery, pick up the pen, and truly, truly experience the happiness that you deserve. All right. I'll talk to you in a few days. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.